John Cole with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. What we're going to do is we're going to compare head-to-head two juicers. And actually, the amazing thing is about these two juicers is actually they're the same price. So the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer in red is the same price as the Green Star GS1000, the original Green Star juicer, which has recently had a price reduction. You know, no longer is the twin gear juicer like that high-end juicer with the high price tag, because check it out, the vertical slow juicers are catching up to the same price, and the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer with the wide feed chute red model is the most expensive vertical single auger juicer on the market. So that's why I'm deciding to compare these two today, because simply they're the same price, and I want you guys to, you know, get the best juicer for you, especially when you're spending this much money for the juicer. So the first thing I want to let you guys know is that these are both slow juicers. They run at a low and slow RPM, so they're going to do minimal nutrient degradation to the nutrients, the phytochemicals, the vitamins in the juice, the enzymes, you know, when juicing. So over on this side, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer runs at 60 RPMs or revolutions per minute. And over on this side, the Green Star GS1000 runs at 110 RPMs or revolutions per minute. Now you might be thinking, John, that's double the RPMs, man, that's a lot. Well, don't freak out. You know, anything under like 150 is low RPMs, and I don't believe that, you know, a difference in 60 RPMs or whatever is going to make that much of a difference. In addition, you know, each of these juicers work a little bit differently. Let me go ahead and take them apart and show you guys. So the main thing I like about the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is that it has a nice wide 3-inch feed chute. Makes feeding in produce very easy. The way the Kuvings works is actually there's this single auger, which is made out of the GE Ultimate material, and you put the produce in, it basically gets smashed up and it gets compressed down and squeezed down. And as it gets squeezed down, kind of like that old-fashioned meat grinder your grandma used to have, as the produce gets squeezed down, the juice is extracted out this screen here, out stage 1 and then stage 2. And then this automatic wiping blade spins around to keep the screen clean. And of course the juice comes out the front of the juicer, and the pulp is discharged on the side. And that's pretty much how the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer works. It's called a single auger design, vertical single auger design. Very easy to assemble, probably easier to feed the produce in than the Green Star that we'll talk about in a minute. But this style machine, you know, with every juicer there's pros and cons, and every juicer, some juicers juice certain produce items better than others. And you know, there's mainly 4 produce classes or produce kind of items that you may be juicing, and let me go over those for you guys. Number 1, there's things like hard vegetables. So hard vegetables are things like carrots and things like beets. Then we have your standard vegetables. You know, maybe you might think of cucumbers or celery, kind of like your standard vegetables. And then we have something like the leafy greens, and I'll also include the wheatgrass in there. And you know, that's a different texture. And then finally we have something like the fruits, and the fruits are an entirely different texture. And so the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer tends to do very well, like it excels at juicing fruits. Actually, I use it the majority of the time to juice fruits myself. You know, it will juice leafy greens fairly well. It'll do pretty good with the carrots. And on the things like the wheatgrass, you know, it's probably not the best for juicing wheatgrass. I would recommend a horizontal auger style machine. But that being said, this style machine will juice wheatgrass. And then finally on other vegetables, it actually does fairly well. So that's the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Over on this side, we got the Green Star GS1000. Works on a whole entirely different principle. And you know, let me go ahead and take this apart to show you guys. This is actually called a twin gear juicer. And this was revolutionary when it came out. There's now a newer model of this, actually known as the GSE 5000, which is the Green Star Elite 5000. And that's the high-end model. That's going to cost you more than this basic model. But if you are considering this one, I might encourage you guys to step up to the GSC 5000. It has been updated, upgraded, and actually has a longer warranty, over twice as long as this machine here. That being said, if you're stuck in that price point between this and this, well, we'll see which one will be better. Anyways, let's go ahead and pull these gears out. Now, how this works is with two stainless steel gears here. So, it's not plastic, just this stainless steel where the main juicing is done. And this basically is a 3-stage juicer. So, number one, you have a section of the gears where the produce just literally gets ground up in between the gears, and these gears have magnetics and far infrared technology within them, which in my opinion, extracts more nutrients out of the juice and causes it to be more stable if you are going to be storing it for any length of time. I only recommend storing juices for up to 3 days, and if you want to store juices, clearly the Green Star is superior than the Kuvings in my opinion. This also has a little pocket recess teeth here, and the job of this pocket recess is basically to chop up strings and things like celery and things like leafy greens, which can actually be problematic for the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. I do recommend pre-cutting leafy greens and things like celery before putting in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, because it will clog up the ejection port and basically make more pulp in your juice and not work so well. No chopping of produce is required, and as long as it'll fit in the feed chute, you're ready to juice it in the Green Star Elite. The next section here is where basically the juice is mixed and pressed out, and that's basically right here, these plastic nylon area of the gears that then extract the juice out of the juicing screen, which is right here. One of the areas on every juicer, that I want you guys to be concerned about when buying a juicer is cleaning. And the hardest part to clean on any juicer, in my opinion, is the screen, because the vegetable fibers will get stuck in the screen. So this is the screen you need to clean on the Green Star. And let me go ahead and show you guys the screen on the Kuvings. So there's a significantly more screen area on the Kuvings than the Green Star. So it will probably take you more time to clean the screen on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. And now let's see here. To assemble the Green Star, very important, the main thing you need to remember is on the back of the gears there's these little dots. There's 2 dots on there, 1 dot on here, and you're going to want to line them up to make like a triangle. And then you're just going to basically insert them right into the machine. You may have to spin them around a little bit to get them to lock into place there. They get seated right in back. Then we're going to go ahead and put the fine juicing screen in. Finally, we're going to put the outlet body casing on the machine, and that's this right here. Then we turn in both of these latch arms, and we just spin these little thumb screws to lock it closed. Now, one of the features of the Green Star 1000 that I like a lot is it actually has this thing right here. And this is what's called an outlet adjusting knob. And this has a spring tensioner on there, and basically it's actually pretty hard spring tension. And the job of this is basically to keep the produce inside the machine, and only when the produce has enough force, when it's dry enough, it can actually push this spring to compress it to allow the produce to come out slowly. This is going to ensure you're going to get the highest level of extraction with the Green Star 1000. Now, I do recommend when using this, you screw it all the way in, and if you're juicing hard vegetables and leafy greens, and wait till the pulp starts coming out. Now, if you get a backup situation, pulp starts coming up the chute, that's your signal that you need to maybe loosen this a few turns. This is especially problematic when juicing the fruits in the Green Star. With the Green Star, the things that are best juiced are by far the hard, firm vegetables, such as the carrots and beets. They're going to do amazing. This is going to get probably one of the highest yields of any juicer out there on those items, plus make a very high quality, high nutrient rich juice. After that, the things like celery and other vegetables do fairly well, as do the leafy greens. But if you're wanting to juice like straight fruit, like pineapples only, like I'm going to make 100% pineapple juice, John, this is not the machine for you. I mean, after all, it is called the Green Star Juicer. the Kuvings would be a much better juicer if you want to juice like single fruits only, so like 100% pineapple juice. Now if you want to make pineapple carrot juice, then the Green Star would be fine. You would put, you know, a piece of pineapple, piece of carrot, piece of pineapple, piece of carrot, and it'd work beautifully because the Green Star really needs that hard fiber to push out the produce out of the machine and get it to work properly. So just like I showed you guys, this has the outlet adjusting knob that has a spring tensioner. This also has an outlet adjusting flap here, and that's this little guy right here that you want to undo before you're when you're cleaning. And then before you're going to juice, you want to just go ahead and plug that guy in there. And basically this is a little flap, and once there's enough produce in there, this flap will compress down and let the pulp flow out of the machine. In general, from what I have seen in the past, the Green Star will make higher yields on, you know, the produce items that it specializes in, such as the hard vegetables and the leafy greens, over the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Alright, so that's mainly the two juicers, you know, kind of sum them up, explain to you guys how they work. The next thing I want to get into is the warranty. So the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer has a 10-year warranty, and the thing about the Green Star is that it only has a 5-year warranty. Now, if you step up to the Green Star Elite model, then it has a 12-year warranty, which actually trumps the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer's 10-year warranty. Now, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer comes with a few nice accessories, including an instruction manual, including a over 100-page recipe, full-color recipe booklet, which I really like and is really good, especially for people that are wanting to get into juicing and making healthy lifestyle changes and getting more fresh fruits and vegetables in you. And they give you a lot of ideas and recipes that you can use. With the Green Star GS1000, you get a few recipes in the back of the standard instruction manual. Now also with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you get 3 different cleaning brushes. One is a screen cleaning tool. Hey, they should invent one for the Green Star. You also get a standard cleaning brush, oversized toothbrush, and then you also get a rounded brush to kind of get in some of these spout holes there. Now in addition, on comparing apples to apples, so the same priced Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer with the Green Star, you also get what's called a blank plate. Now this blank plate is designed only to make things like nut butters and frozen fruit sorbets. And in addition, on the same priced red Kuvings model, you also get a smoothie screen, you know, that I'm not showing today. Over on the Green Star side, you basically get the juicer set up to juice, and then you get a blank plate. And this one is, you know, good to make this, not only the sorbets, not only the nut butters, but it'll also make baby food, make pâtés. You can process vegetables in here, literally just to grind them up. So the Green Star is a little bit more versatile, in my opinion, than the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. I guess the next thing I want to get into is, you know, get into the juice off to show you guys how these guys work when juicing, and more importantly, which one will reign supreme in this juice off comparison. So now we're going to get juicing in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer and the Green Star GS1000 model. And now what we're going to juice today, of course, some of my favorite things to juice, including leafy greens here. We got some collard greens, fresh picked out of my garden, 8.1 ounces in each of these containers. Leafy greens are probably one of the most important things that I believe you guys should be juicing. You know, every time I juice, I try to juice some leafy greens because they are the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, which means they have the most phytochemicals, phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals per calorie. You know, junk food, on the other hand, and processed foods, things in packages, bottles, and jars made with white flour, white sugar, and all these things, have high calories and low nutrients. And if you guys looked around recently, over 66% of Americans are either overweight or obese. And in my opinion, one of the reasons is because they are eating empty calorie foods that are high in calories and low in nutrients, like junk foods and like all the foods I just named. Whereas if you want to be healthy, in my opinion, you need to eat things that are the most nutrient dense, which are the leafy greens, fruits, and vegetables by far. Alright, so 8.1 ounces of the collard greens, and of course next we got the carrots. So we got these purple carrots here, organic purple carrots. These are really good carrots to juice. I love them. They taste a lot, plus they impart a nice dark purple color to the juice. And I want to encourage you guys, to eat your foods of color. Eat the rainbow, don't just, if they have these purple carrots available at your store near you, buy the purple ones. Don't just get the orange ones, and I always want you guys to rotate and switch up the different items you're juicing. So don't get into a habit of making the lemon ginger blast every day or a certain recipe. Oh, that's the recipe I make every day. I want you guys to mix it up, because every different produce item, including different colors of carrots and different varieties of collards, have different levels of nutrients, which I believe, one of the reasons why I juice is literally to flood my body with nutrients, more importantly the phytochemicals, the minerals, and the vitamins, without the calories, right? Because I want to stay slim and trim and, maintain a healthy weight, but be as healthy as I can. And, it's the power of the fruits and vegetables that allow me to do just that. So we have 25 ounces of these carrots in each of these glasses that we will be juicing in each of the juicers. Now, before I get juicing, one of the things we'll need to do is do some preparation. Now, my preparation is done in the Green Star 1000. We could juice this like this. No pre-cutting is necessary. Now, over on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer side, well, some people may say you could just put in these leafy greens whole and uncut. I'm not going to recommend you guys do that in the Kuvings. In my opinion, this will cause some issues. It will cause the machine to jam, and you're going to have a poor juicing experience, and then you're going to be cursing me out, or cursing people that say you could juice these whole, or things like celery whole. I always encourage you guys to cut up your leafy greens and celery in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Now, I might be thinking, John, wait, they got the 3-inch wide feed sheet in there, but if you got a pre-cut stuff, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Well, it does, but the only thing you're going to need to pre-cut is the leafy greens and things like celery. Things with long fibrous strands are going to get cut, or, jam up the juicer. So things like watermelon and apples and oranges, tomatoes, cucumbers, you can just drop those guys in whole in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, and that's the beauty of the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. On the carrots, you don't generally need to pre-cut them, although large diameter carrots may have some challenge with the Kuvings, but in general, you don't need to cut them. So on these guys, very simple, very easy. We're just going to go ahead and take a knife here, chef's knife. Just going to go ahead and cut those guys in half, and then we're going to go ahead and put this bunch together. And then we're going to take a knife here, and I'm just going to basically run down and cut this into like 8-inch pieces. So we're making long, like chiffonade strands. So basically what this is doing, we're cutting up all the vegetable fibers, in the stem, and going up the stem of this, the collard greens that would get normally cut in the, stuck up in the juicer. And this is very important in my opinion, and should be done when juicing in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, which is a vertical juicer, or any other vertical juicer for that matter, for the best results. And that's one of the beauties of the Green Star GS1000, is that you don't have to pre-cut anything. So now we're almost ready to juice. As you guys can see, the Kuvings is all set and ready to juice. We have 2 containers, plastic containers, that are included with the juicer to catch the juice and the pulp. On the Green Star, it only includes 1 glass catch container for the juice, and you will need to provide your own to catch the pulp. So I'm just using a standard 1 quart Pyrex measuring cup. We'll put that underneath there. Very simple and very easy. I guess next, let's get into the juicing, and we're going to juice 1 machine at a time. So first, let's go ahead and use the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Now, when juicing items in either juicer, I want to encourage you guys to rotate the produce you're putting in. So don't just put all the carrots and then all the collard greens. That would be a grave mistake. Likewise, you wouldn't want to put all the collard greens and then all the carrots. The juicers, especially the slow juicers, need different textures, to work optimally. So I'm going to put a handful of the collards and then a carrot, a handful of collards and then a carrot, until I'm all out of produce. Let's go ahead and turn this guy on. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take some of these collard greens, put them right in. Now, The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you know, it has a wide feed chute, but it does not have a funnel, so I have had challenges with it, you know, dropping produce off the side, unlike the Green Star that has a really nice funnel to direct the produce in so that you're not spilling it on the counter. Next, let's go ahead and put in the fattest carrot into the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, see how it does. Alright, goes right in, and as you guys can see, it's juicing right up. Alright, there it is. Check it out, man. That's the power of the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. It literally could take that whole carrot, grind it all up, and one of the things I like about the vertical slow juicers, including the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, is that literally it's auto-feeding. You saw me just drop the carrot in there, it sucked it in, juiced it right up. Alright, next let's go ahead and take some more of these collard greens, drop them right in the machine, and it's literally self-feeding and taking them in and juicing right up. Let's go ahead and grab another piece of carrot, push those collard greens in. Now it's very important in any juicer, especially the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, because just because it has a large feed chute doesn't mean you can cram stuff in as fast as it'll take it, right? You need to give the machine some time to work, and work slowly, because after all, it is a slow juicer. Next, we're going to go ahead and take another handful of collards, and then we're going to go ahead and rotate in and juice the carrots. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to juice the collards and the carrots until I'm all finished. Alright, so as you guys can see, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer was taking in a carrot and it just stopped. And you know, this is one of the challenges with any vertical juicer. So when this happens, you're going to reverse, let it run in reverse, then turn it forward, and then it'll go ahead and continue juicing. Alright, so that's working pretty good. Maybe I need to slow down a little bit, you know, when feeding in the produce, and I want to encourage you guys to slow down just a little bit when feeding produce in your juicer as well. As you guys can see up in this area, we're getting some produce that's not getting juiced, so I'm going to try to take a carrot and, you know, get that all pushed in. Next, we're going to go ahead and take some more of these collard greens and drop it right into the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Alright, so we're almost finished juicing in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. I got about one more handful of the collard greens, and it's very important, you know, when juicing in any vertical slow juicer, including the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, is that you want to end up always, if you can, by juicing a carrot. The carrot is going to help push all that softer stuff through, whether that is fruits or whether that's something like this today, the leafy greens. So as you guys can see, it took that carrot, chunked it in, and we got some nice pulp flow coming out. When juicing in any vertical slow juice, you want to make sure that the pulp is constantly flowing out, although the pulp may not be the width of the ejection ports here. As long as it's flowing, you're doing a good job. And I want to encourage you guys to check out a video I made on how to make a green juice in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, where I go over my specific tips and tricks to juice successfully in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. I guess with that, let's go ahead and turn on the Green Star juicer, twin gear juicer, and let's go ahead and get juicing on that. So once again, you know, the Green Star also has an on and off switch. On the Kuvings, it's on the front. On the Green Star, it's on the top. On, off, and reverse. Gee, that's a little bit quieter than the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Now, the amazing thing is about the Green Star that I like a lot is literally you can just take some of these collard greens, kind of fold them up, and watch this. We're going to shove that guy in there, and look at that, man. Takes it right in, juices it right up. If you are using the plastic pusher, there's an arrow on the pusher that you're going to want to align with the arrow on the top of the funnel there, and use that to push in the proper direction. So, you know, one of the challenges with the Green Star, all the different Green Stars with the twin gears, is that you will literally have to take the produce and push it in the gears. So the best way to do this is to take the carrot, small end first, drop that in there, and take your pusher, and it will take some downward pressure. So, you know, if you have arthritis or are old and you don't have good physical strength, this may not be the juice for you if you're going to be juicing a lot of carrots. As you guys can see, this is working amazingly well, and we're going to go ahead and continue to juice maybe like 2 leaves of the collard greens for every carrot, because once again, we're going to want to rotate the different items we're putting into the machine there. I want to encourage you guys always, when using any juicer, to only use the pusher to push the produce items in, And on the vertical juicers, actually, I recommend actually that you do not use a pusher, but you just let it auto feed on its own. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a carrot and feed in the small end of the carrot first. Push that in, and the carrot is literally going to help get all that pulp out. Man, if we compare the pulp on these guys, the pulp is significantly drier on the Green Star. So it's going to be interesting to see the yield at the end of this juice off. So one of the things I want to say is that when juicing in the Green Star or any twin gear juicer, you know, it can take some downward force to push produce in the machine. So it helps if you stand on something, maybe like a step stool, to get some extra leverage on it if the leverage that you have at your height is not enough. In general, if you're putting this on your kitchen counter and you're a standard height person, you can use your height to your advantage to help push the produce into the machine to get it juiced. Let me tell you, using the Green Star or any twin gear juicer, you're going to get a little bit of a workout, especially when juicing the carrots. Alright, so I just got a few more leafy greens to juice, and check this out. One of the things I like to do is actually feed the leafy greens in with the stem end first. Literally, you put it in there, and it just kind of gets sucked into the machine. Right, down to 2 last carrots. Let's go ahead and push this guy in there. Once again, we're going to use the pusher and push it in. Let's see if I can push it in with one finger. Alright, okay, I can barely push it in with one finger. So if you're strong as me with one finger, then you could easily feed produce into the Green Star. Alright, so we're down to the last few items to juice in the Green Star 1000. Once again, leafy green, shove that in, get it shoved right in, juice it right up. We're going to go ahead and use a carrot, help push that in a little bit, get that leafy green in. And of course, much like the Kuvings, we're going to want to stop juicing on a carrot, you know, and get all our leafy greens into the machine. The carrot will basically help push all the leafy greens through the machine to get it fully juiced and extracted. Alright, now we're down to the last carrot. Let's go ahead and drop that baby in there into the Green Star. Push it in. Now yes, you know, as I mentioned, carrots can be and can take some effort to juice in the machine. I'm not at the appropriate angle. It'd be better if I was like at a better angle to juice at. But I think we'll get this done there. Now, if you are having challenges juicing carrots in the Green Star, I do suggest you guys cut them lengthwise. So like if you got a wide diameter carrot, cut them lengthwise down the center. It's going to make it significantly easier to juice in the Green Star. Alright, took 2 hands, but I got it all juiced up. As you guys can see, the pulp's still coming out. Now with any slow juicer, I want to always encourage you guys to let the juicer run, you know, for 30 seconds after you're feeding the last produce item in. This will ensure you're going to get all the juice out of the machine. Alright, so first what I like to do, besides comparing the amount of juice that was created, I want to compare the pulp for you guys. So we're going to try to get the pulp out of the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer and scrape it out of the Green Star juicer. Now if we simply just take the pulp and we squeeze the pulp, man, they're both actually fairly dry. But let's go ahead and weigh the pulp to see which juicer basically extracted more juice out of the pulp. So we're going to go ahead and put the pulp from the Green Star in here. I think we'll be able to fit this if we push that in a little bit. Alright, that's all the pulp there. Let's go ahead and dump out the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer pulp. The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer pulp is a tad bit wetter, but actually, you know, it's pretty dry. I'm quite impressed actually. So let's go ahead and push that guy in there, make sure we get all the pulp. As you guys can see, the pulp on the Green Star weighs 11.6 ounces, and over on the Kuvings it weighs 13.6 ounces. So that's a whole 2 ounces more of juice that's left over in the pulp. Alright, so as we just learned, the pulp weighs more in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, which means the Green Star was more efficient, or so it seems. So next, let's go ahead and check out to see which juicer made more yield. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and use measuring cups, and we're going to go ahead and use a little strainer to strain out all the pulp. Also to show you guys which juicer, you know, made more pulp in the juice. This is very important because a lot of people don't like the pulp in the juice. Let's go ahead and pour this guy off. Wow, that made a significant portion of pulp in the juice. So, you know, even though the pulp weighed only 2 ounces less, because there's more pulp in the juice, this may affect the yield. Let's go ahead and try to tap all this out of there because there's some pulp and juice left in this container. Looks like we pretty much got it all. We're going to go ahead and let that kind of sieve down there a little bit, maybe shake it a little bit. We're going to go ahead and take the juice out of the Green Star, pour this baby in, and wow, man, I'm seeing very little pulp in the strainer. And we're going to go ahead and do a close-up for you guys in just a little bit. Wow, man. This made a lot more than 2 ounces of juice difference. It's pretty amazing. All right, so let's go ahead. Now, the Green Star did tend to make a little bit more foam than the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. And I want to let you guys know that, you know, every juicer will make some amount of foam, and depending on the produce items you're juicing, it'll create more or less foam. And foam is basically just juice with air in it. So if you let the foam sit for a while and settle, it'll actually turn into some juice. All right, so let's go ahead and take these two guys here, and let's go ahead and shake them down. All right, guys, you're being shaken down for all your money. No, I mean all your juice. So we're just about done shaking these guys down, and I do want to say that, man, look at this. This is pretty amazing. I don't know if you guys could see that, but the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer made, man, I'd say at least four or five times more pulp. So if you did not strain the pulp out, you will get a juice with a rich, fibrous texture. Now, some people say that there's still nutrients that are attached to the fiber, so it may be a good idea to drink the pulp. For me personally, you know, I like to get my fiber when eating my salad at night, but not when drinking my juice. Now, both the GS 1000 Green Star and the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer B6000, they do not include a strainer if you want to take out and strain out your juice. Looks like the Green Star puts minimal pulp in the juice, so this may not be an issue. But on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, it leaves a significant amount of pulp, so you will want to get a strainer if you don't like pulp in your juice. All right, next let's go ahead and take a look at the yields. So let's go ahead and take a look at the yields. All right, over on the Green Star side, looks like we have about 500 milliliters of juice, and over on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer side, looks like we have about 350 milliliters of juice. So what does this mean? This means the Green Star juicer made 30% more juice than the equivalent priced Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. In addition, it made significantly, like 5 times less pulp in the juice. So, you know, clearly, I would say the Green Star GS 1000 is the clear winner in this juice off. The other thing that I'm looking at, I don't know if you guys could see that on the close-up that I did, but the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, the juice is kind of more green, and in the Green Star, the juice is like a darker purple green. So maybe the Green Star is pulling out more nutrients with its far infrared and magnetic technology that's built in to the core of the stainless steel augers. I believe this technology is only beneficial, and from the reports I've seen, it will allow you to store your juice for up to 3 days in a sealed airtight container with no airspace, or vacuum sealed, you know, for up to 3 days with minimal nutrient degradation. You know, I haven't seen any testing with any vertical slow juicer or any slow juicers with juice stability on how it does store, although all the manufacturers claim you can store our juices for up to 3 days in a slow juicer. But, you know this, only the Green Star Tribest company has done any testing to prove it. So yeah, I guess the next thing is I gotta do the taste test, see if they taste significantly different. Alright, first up, Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer juice. Tastes like collared carrot juice. Alright, Green Star juice. So I have to say, actually, you know, the juices are a different color, and I have to say that the juices taste different to me. The Green Star juice actually tastes a little bit sweeter than the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer for some reason. Now I do know that those purple carrots tend to be sweet carrots, and of course the collard greens, you know, tend to maybe not be the sweetest things on the earth. So maybe the Green Star was able to pull out more of the carrot deliciousness and carrot sweetness, and maybe with the Farm for Red and magnetic technology it was able to do just that. So yeah, if you want to spend about the same price on a juicer, you know, you're going to want to go with the Green Star if you're juicing hard vegetables and leafy greens. Produces 30% more juice, and I want you guys to be aware, you know, every time you're juicing in a juicer, no matter what juicer you get, if you're leaving juice in the pulp, or, you know, juice in the pulp that you're taking out, you know, you're literally flushing money down the toilet. I mean, everything I juiced today is organic produce, and organic produce is expensive, and you're losing 30% juice. It's not going to take you that much time to make up the money you're saving, you know, by buying a more expensive, or in this case, the same priced juicer. So that means you're going to be making money every time you juice. Now I did compare the Green Star 1000 today because it is the same price as a Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. But if you're going to go for the Green Star GS 1000, I would definitely encourage you guys to step up to the next level, the GSE 5000, because it only does a better job, in my opinion. It is a little bit easier to clean, it has a longer gear, is easier to assemble, and has over twice the warranty. Be sure to check my other videos on both the Green Star Elite and the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer on how to use them properly for best results. If you like this video and are buying a juicer, I want to encourage you guys to support me and my work. I make all these videos for you guys for free, but I would hope that you would see the value in these juice off comparisons, because big companies, other companies are not doing these juice off comparisons to show you guys what actually happens. And of course the manufacturers are always going to tell you our juice is the best, but I'm basically breaking it down, showing you guys the pros and cons of each model. I have over 400 videos now comparing juicers, pros and cons, side by side, using the same exact produce items in each one, so you guys can find out the best juice for you. And when you guys make a purchase at Discount Juicers, you know, you are supporting my work, supporting and allowing me to be here and continue to do these videos, continue to educate the public about growing their own foods, about eating more fruits and vegetables, so that you guys can be healthier, and I thank you for it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors. Alright, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do today is Battle of the Juicers. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to compare the Breville Juice Fountain Elite to the Kuvings